and that order is going to take effect in September. That is going to affect the US payment system, blockchain, crypto, and
again, I already said that the XRP is going to be working on making these payment systems. So they already met on a dinner. Trump literally met on dinner with the XRP CEO, Brad Garlinghouse.
So much more. I wanted to take a closer look at this and what we can expect in September. You also have just volume popping off in Korea. I wanted to take a closer look.
We already talked about Korea though, but this one in September, preparation for business to count cryptocurrency as an asset for mortgage.
Cryptocurrencies this is talking about. What does it cover? Is it real? All right.
So stable coins might be very well becoming the next big thing. I already talked about some part of it of the Korean markets and did my theory on this. So we'll use Ripple custody to provide secure infrastructure for XRP RLUSD. So US has about 55 million holders or 55 million potential buyers. So where do you go from here? How does US make more money? It reaches people from other countries. So it convinces people to buy US coins. That's why people in Europe, they don't buy the European stock market. They buy the S&P 500, the US stock market. So that is another thing you have to consider. A lot of countries, even a lot of residents, even from their own country, they want to buy the US stuff because it gives the biggest returns. Like, yeah, some people buy the Chinese stock market, but that's a very small portion compared to how many buy the US.
26 that it has signed a strategic partnership with Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions. The partnership aligns with Financial Services Commission's recently announced the roadmap for regulatory approval of institutional participation.
So September, literally the historic time that crypto explodes, is going to be now the historic time that XRP and all these companies will get disapproved. BDACS will leverage Ripple custody to provide custody infrastructure services for XRP and their stablecoin and other crypto assets, supporting XRP ledger developers and ecosystem growth, building infrastructure and collaboration to support the stablecoin. So yeah, they're focusing on stablecoin right now, but they're partnering to expand institutional custody on South Korea. Exactly as I said, South Korea has many buyers, and this is just, a potential factor, maybe 0.1% of what they could achieve if they keep working on this.
Yeah, to expand its reach.
Welcome everyone to the stream, and thank you so much for smashing that like button as well.
For XRP, it says today we are partnering with BDAX to extend institutional crypto custody in South Korea. BDAX will use Ripple custody to provide secure infrastructure for XRP, RLUSD, and other crypto assets, supporting institutional adoption, XRPL developer growth, and Korea's evolving regulatory landscape. And so here is the article. BDAX is a leading digital asset institutional custody for...
Again, this might be just the start of new partnerships. I think once the US gives a green light to Korea and all these exchanges, once the US government approves it, we are going to be seeing more countries entering and working with Ripple. Upbit, South Korea's largest exchange, basically saw the biggest trading with XRP and the Korean won, basically their own US dollar.
And capital controls further incentivizes activity or active trading and arbitrage, since sometimes, crypto can be a little bit more expensive in Korea itself, than other places.
They're going to make it cheaper. They're literally going to make it cheaper to buy.
In Korea are trying to get ahead of they believe a big demand for XRP is coming, and people are trying to position themselves accordingly.
So yeah, Upbit is probably going to be the first exchange that's going to allow Koreans to buy it, because right now there's a lot of fees when you want to buy in Korea. You have to open an account. You have to send it from the bank. There's probably like $50, $100 in fees. And now that basically XRP is having this partnership, it might make it easier for anyone outside of the US to buy XRP by itself. The regulation is getting there. Asia has a very strict stance on crypto. In China, you can't even buy XRP. That's why Korea is thinking it's very slow after Terra Luna Classic. If you don't know what happened with Terra Luna Classic, it was XRP's competitor. It got absolutely destroyed and fell to $0. People lost billions. People did bad things to themselves, and some, even like a friend of a friend or a friend work acquaintance, lost $300,000. So this is not just fairy tale jokes. Someone that I never met, but I believe that he lost $300,000. And I believe that some people lost $1 million, or they lost $3 million, or they lost $25 million. Crypto Banter, a YouTuber, lost pretty much, I think he lost a few million, maybe even 800,000. I'm not too sure how much he lost, but he lost a very hurting amount in the Terra Luna Classic. Some people pulled their money out, but Ripple is going to ensure this never happens again. That was literally the wipe for everyone.
I too love this. More demand, more XRP that's being taken off exchanges, less XRP that's available. If we can bring the circulating supply down at the same time, man, we could do some crazy things with the price. Exchange dynamics. Upbit, South Korea's largest exchange, is at the center of this surge. Recent data has shown XRP KRW pairs dominating Upbit's volume at time.
Again, what I said, this is the big news that everyone has been waiting for.
To and from
the executive order, the order's main goals are to increase efficiency. All federal disbursements and receipts must be made electronically, including social services, tax refunds. Again, this is just the early stages, what we are seeing with a deep dive into crypto.
Coins and paper dollars eventually will go to it. This will all be digital in the next, 10, 20 years.
Yeah, like who uses dollars anymore? Everybody uses a card right now. So the banks are trying to do the same. They're trying to, look, if the banks accept crypto, there's a very big chance that they will want you to use crypto. Why? Because they get fees. That's what they care about. They care about the money that they get from crypto. They don't care about crypto as a whole, but they definitely care about missing out on potential fees. Every single company is going to care about the money that they could get and they're not getting. That's why US is entering crypto. Because right now, these banks want fast transactions, but they don't have the system to do it. And Ripple is trying to help them achieve it. Literally right now, we are seeing crypto exchanges doing the faster transactions than banks. You send a transaction in the bank and it's tomorrow. And right